Hi, my name is Grace, and welcome back to my hobby hole. Today, I'm going to be doing a review for Vivid by Ashley Bustamante, but before I jump into it, I just wanted to say that I'm sorry I haven't posted a video in a little bit. It's been a little crazy lately, and that's actually why I'm filming in the car today, is because I knew I would have the time to film. So here we are. So I thought we could hang out in the car and talk about this book. So the book is Vivid by Ashley Bustamante. I can't tell how well you can see it. I've got sunlight coming in. But the book is Vivid by Ashley Bustamante, and it is a YA fantasy. The story follows 17-year-old Ava, who is a red magic user, and there are 3 different types of magic in this book. There's red magic, which has to do with strength, agility, healing, and there's also blue magic, which allows the person who has blue magic to control objects around and near them. And there's also yellow magic, but yellow magic has been banned, and nobody really talks about it. It's almost like it's non-existent, and also there aren't really any yellow magic users around. It's just kind of assumed that they are like in confinement. Now, the way this book starts, Ava is actually in the forest and she's studying because she wants to become a benefactor. So she's trying to learn all about her magic and how she can use it to help others. And she ends up coming up with this idea on how to use her red magic to protect against yellow magic. But when she tries her idea, it fails. She ends up with a really bad headache. So she decides just to go back to school. Well, while she's getting everything up and headed back to school, this guy runs into her. And he's very, shocked and almost out of place. And he just, I don't know, just acts kind of off. And he tells her not to tell anyone that she saw him. And then he just turns around and goes back into the forest, doesn't say anything else to her, just leaves. And Ava goes back to school. Well, later that day, the benefactors announce to the entire school that there has been a yellow magic user named Elm who has broken out of benefactor confinement. So, of course, the benefactors tell them that he's extremely dangerous, that if they see anything that is odd or strange, to tell them immediately. And, of course, Ava thinks of the guy that bumped into her in the forest, but she kind of debates whether or not to tell Celine, who is her mentor. And, of course, Celine is also a benefactor. She kind of debates telling her, and she doesn't get around to it. She doesn't really get a good chance to. So, of course, she doesn't tell her. And that night, she has a dream. And Elma's in that dream. But he doesn't really say much of anything to her or anything before he jumps through what looks like a portal. And she continues having dreams like this for the next month. And every time she walks up to him, he vanishes, or he jumps through the portal, just gets away basically. And she continues to grow more curious about yellow magic, and nobody will really tell her anything about it. And she still hasn't told anybody about Elm and about the fact that he bumped into her or anything. She just basically keeps it to herself because she's not sure whether she should tell anyone or not, and there's other reasons, but I'll kind of give away spoilers, so I'm just going to leave it at that. Well, one day Elm breaks into the school, and Ava ends up accidentally assisting him, and she finds out that he lives in the forest, so she begins visiting him here and there. And the more she learns about yellow magic, the more she begins to wonder if what the benefactors have told her is true. and she begins to realize that things around her are not as they seem. Now, for my rating for this book, I loved this book. It was definitely 5 out of 5 stars. I read it in 4 days. I'm a slow reader, very slow reader. A book like this would normally take me probably a week, but it took me about 4 days. It probably would have took me 3 days, but I started reading a little late on the first day. I only got, I don't know, maybe an hour's worth of reading done, maybe a little more, but I read this book extremely fast for me anyway, and I absolutely loved it. There are no spoilers here, but I absolutely loved Elm's backstory and kind of how it tied into everything else in the story, how it all connected. I also find it funny how sometimes in the book, Elm would say something and it wouldn't even be all that threatening, but Ava would kind of panic and would start thinking things like, why am I here? This is dangerous. I shouldn't be here. I also loved how they met. Well, not really the first time they met, but the second time they met, when he breaks into the school, because he just kind of drags her like along for the ride, and she really doesn't even have to do what he's telling her to do, but she's kind of scared because he has yellow magic, and she's heard that he's like very dangerous and all this different stuff, so she just panics and goes along with it, and I just think it's really funny sometimes. Also, I don't really have any issues with this book. There weren't really any plot holes or anything that I felt like could have been done better. Honestly, I think it was a perfect book. I didn't see anything wrong with it. It was just a really good book. For me, it is definitely 5 out of 5 stars. That is my book review for Vivid by Ashley Bustamante, which is the first book in the Color Theory series. Definitely 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. Let me know in the comments if you've read this book and what you think about it. And please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.